Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Spectre Approved podcast, a podcast where two gamers play a game that predicted the COVID pandemic. I'm your host, Adam Forrester, and I'm joined once again by Fenris.
That's me. I don't know about COVID, but it was definitely interesting to see the cordyceps in this game, and then a few years later find out that is actually a thing. So that was kind of creepy. But what we're talking about, listeners, is The Last of Us. That is the game we played, and I have thoughts and opinions.
As do I. So The Last of Us was developed by Naughty Dog, the acclaimed studio behind the Uncharted series, and released exclusively for the PlayStation 3 in June 2013. Development began shortly after Uncharted 2 was completed, with the studio splitting into two teams, one continuing with Uncharted 3 and the other working with this new IP. Directed by Neil Druckmann and Bruce Straley, The Last of Us aimed to merge cinematic storytelling with deeply emotional gameplay, focusing on the bond between two survivors, Joel and Ellie, as they navigate a post-apocalyptic United States ravaged by a fungal.
It's a good game. I played this on release, so I don't remember what my initial gut reaction was, but I do remember what it was for this game, and I did not like this game playing it the first time for reasons I'll get into later, but it came up for the podcast, so I'm interested to see if my viewpoints from back then still aligned with my viewpoints now.
Yeah, so this was my host pick for this go around, because I just wanted to see what all the hype was about, because I own a PS3 copy of this game. I never played it for whatever reason. I'm guessing what's going on at the time. 2013, I would have a big move and had a pretty busy career, so probably not much time for gaming. However, this game has been lauded and touted across everyone I've spoken to loves this game, apart from Fenris. So I wanted to see what all the fuss was about. This was also one of the first R-rated games in Australia. We moved over, it nearly didn't come to us because of our horrible classification system here in Australia. However, when we moved to the R-rated, we got it. So I don't actually know if we got the same release date, because I know upon release, The Last of Us received universal acclaim for its writing, performances, atmosphere, and emotional impact. Sold over 17 million copies across the PS3 and PS4 platforms, and is widely regarded as one of the greatest games of all time. Its success led to a remastered version in 2014 for the PlayStation 4, featuring high-resolution textures, improved lighting and performance, and in September 2022, we got The Last of Us Part 1, a full remake for PlayStation 5 and ported to PC in which is the version I think we both played this.
Yes.
That port's very interesting. 1 year between. I think it came with some DLC at the time, because I know the PS4 also did the lovely thing of not being backwards compatible.
Yeah, and in my angst about this game throughout the years, I detested the fact that there were so many remakes, and that there were so many remakes, re-releases, because I had such strong viewpoints about this game that I did not understand why. But again, I'm not going to say anything until I get there, because thoughts and opinions.
And I think as even someone who didn't play it at the time, it's still confusing. because PS3 was a good selling console. And if the game sold that well, you'd think a lot of people would have just played their PS3 version. So I have to wonder how much of the good old cash grab Naughty Dog was going for. Because I don't think people would have been clamoring saying that they needed it upon the PS4's release. They might have.
Probably not. It was a critically acclaimed game. It was renowned the world over for its story and its gameplay, and I can see why people enjoyed it as one of the people that played it on release. So, like, I really enjoyed my time with this game until a certain point of the story.
Yeah, so we both rolled credits on this one. For myself, it was 15 hours, but I only played the base game.
I came in about an hour after you, but I also didn't play the DLC. I think I meant to, I just forgot.
Yeah, I started Left Behind, and I was like, I enjoyed playing as Ellie, 100%. I was just ready to move on, I guess, because it covered something that had already been spoken about and talked about, and I thought it was like follow on, like after the main story, not in between a gap that Ellie had already talked about. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know anything about the DLC. I don't know where it takes place or when it takes place or who you control, but it's Ellie during the hours of the game. And okay, that makes sense.
It jumps back and forth between Ellie's friends that she talks to Joel about at the end of the game. And then in between, also when she is by herself, for reasons that we will get into past the spoiler wall.
Yeah.
Speaking of the spoiler wall, I will give it here. I feel like we should have to talk about the prologue, because you don't actually meet Ellie till chapter 1. So I think we will spoil the prologue. However, that leads into my impressions of the game, which at first, because of the marketing of this, I went in blind to the story. So I had watched the TV show previously, so I'll reference that when I'm about my first impression of the story itself, because the TV show, I think, follows the game pretty much to the letter, without a couple of things, which I'll talk about when we get there, and leads into my first impression, though, of holy fuck, because Ellie was very much advertised as being a part of this game. From the get-go, she was in all the promotions. She's on the front cover of the fucking box. So when we go there, and I'm like, it shows Joel pre-event, and his daughter Sarah. I was like, oh, okay, where's Ellie? And then we get to the end of the prologue, and I'm like, oh damn, all right.
Yep. That's where it all goes downhill.
Yeah, that was my first impression of the story. I actually died in the prologue as well, which didn't sit well with me, because as you're running. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I know. I was just gonna comment on the fact that I didn't know that was possible.
Thanks. It goes down to my wanting to explore the environment and how captivated I was with the environment. So it's to the game's credit. But in the burning city, you need to run away from some infected individuals. And I ran the wrong way, and I got killed by those infected individuals because I thought, it's the tutorial. I'm not going to be able to die. But yes, you can definitely, which I think is to the game's credit, because you just reload a save 10 seconds earlier. But yeah, it was still interesting.
My first impression of this game was wonder. Again, I'm going to be referencing this second playthrough of mine because, like I said, I played this on release, and I really don't remember much of how I felt 20 years ago. So, excuse me. So, I mean, yeah, I felt a lot of wonder because I was really curious, like I said before, how my viewpoints were going to stand up to this game as compared to what they were when I first played it. So, and then my my first reaction when I jumped in was, honestly, I noticed the graphics. The graphics did look a lot better than what I remembered. I knew that the story was good. I knew that I knew kind of what to do, but it was basically there was so much stuff in this game that I forgot about, because there's that one person in the first chapter that dies essentially, and I completely forgot about that. I didn't know that was gonna happen. So yeah, so this was basically like a fresh playthrough for me.
Okay, that's good in a way. And here we go. So by the end of my first hour, I had a variety of. I also thought the game was beautiful. Ran great on PC. Looked wonderful. The environment, the sounds, all there. Fantastic story. I was over the gameplay after 1 hour of playing this game. After, I think, about the end of chapter 2, I want to say. After you reach the Capitol building and go through there, I was like, I am over actually playing.
Yeah, and I understand that, because the core gameplay loop is basically just sneak your way through the map and try not to get caught. And if you do get caught, fight your way out. And that's pretty much it. So I completely understand that. I didn't have an issue with that, because the sneaking aspect just made the game easier. You didn't really have to sneak unless it was a story-driven kind of thing. But the sneaking didn't really bother me. I'm one of those people that likes to hoard things, so I would have rather snuck through anything and not fought anyone or anything, and saved my ammunition for a time when I needed it.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. I don't get along with stealth gameplay at the best of times. I think just because I'm impatient shit at it. But it was more.
How did you get through Skyrim? Isn't that just a stealth archer thing?
So with Skyrim, I went into the first cave, as you do. I used the little controller trick to get my stealth up to 99. So I was just able to walk around really and not be noticed. That's how I play Skyrim.
Yeah.
But it wasn't even the infected enemies that I had the biggest problem with. I think it was the human enemies. Probably because they were smarter and had better AI being able to sneak.
Yeah.
So I also died a lot, which probably didn't help.
I think I died a few times as well. I don't remember when or where, but I'm pretty sure I died a few times as well. And also to humans, just because, like, whenever you come across the clickers or the zombies, whatever you want to call them, like, yeah, sure, you meet a couple of them until the very end. But for the majority of the amount of human interactions to zombie interactions as far as combat goes is few and far between. Well, not few and far, but there were definitely always going to be more humans than there were zombies. So,
Yep.
And I think that kind of helps with the immersion of it, because I don't know. It made it seem like the world was less barren than a lot of post-apocalyptic zombie media would like to represent.
Yeah, and that point I definitely agree with you with, because there's 6 billion people on the planet. Even if a zombie apocalypse occurred, there'd just be stuff and people everywhere. It's unlikely, unless you were in a less densely populated area to begin with, that because this is Washington DC.
Washington, yes, and you're headed to the
busy.
capital, so yeah.
Washington's going to be bloody busy from what I've seen. Obviously, I've been there. I'm kind of disappointed that we didn't get to a bunch of politics, with it being... But
wrong era for wanting to kill politicians,
Yeah, I
but I
know.
get it.
It's just some Zombiefied politics. But yeah, I will play into and give it its praise that it was very realistic, as much as that can be. Particularly with your crafting, your exploration, and the combat itself. Because Joel's a 50-year-old dude. Yeah, he's fit because he's been having to live in apocalyptic for, what is it? Is it a 20-year time skip between the prologue and chapter 1? Yeah.
Yes.
So he's been living a hard life. So he's going to be on the fitter side, but he's still a 50-year-old dude. And he had no combat experience prior to the event occurring. I'm pretty sure he was a tradesman. So he's going to have strength, but not combat skills. And I think that definitely to its credit.
Yeah.
Despite you slaughtering like 30 people in a room at the end of the game, like other combatants. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, and that's something that you can definitely see as far as his personal demeanor, going from the prologue to the first chapter. Just because, something like that would definitely harden people, just because of the environment that you're essentially forced to live in. Because immediately it's do or die. It's you have to find a way to survive, or you're not going to make it.
Yeah, and that even plays into the crafting and the system as well. You're literally picking up things off the little parts to craft either ammo, bandages, or I didn't really get too much into the gun upgrades, so I don't know how realistically they work, like whether he was just shoving a metal pipe on.
No, to touch on that real quick, the crafting bits were really cool because, and that was one thing that I forgot about, was how cool the crafting bits was, because anytime you upgraded the weapons with whatever you wanted to do, depending on the upgrade, it was dependent upon what he swapped out. Because when you get to a little workstation and you have enough parts, as they're called, to upgrade a weapon, you can upgrade like firepower or fire speed, or in some cases sight zoom, or range, or stuff like that. And I remember specifically upgrading, I think it was a shotgun, I don't remember, but like I became entranced in what he was doing, because while I had chosen the specific upgrade I chose, he started dismantling the entire weapon, and he put a whole new, I watched him put a new stock on it, and then I watched him put a new barrel on it. So it was really cool to see something like that, because in a lot of games, when you upgrade stuff like that, it's just like, oh, well, here's the same weapon, but better. But in this one, you actually saw physical changes to the weapon, and I thought that was really cool. But outside of that, did you have any issues? Oh, no, I was drawing a blank. Did you have any issues, like bugs or anything like that? Because I did.
Yeah, I had a couple. I had to turn my graphics down because, again, I had shaded. My PC isn't very good at reading the correct benchmark for games. It puts everything at ultra for some reason. And I had to turn down to high. But after that, my graphical stuff sorted itself out. I actually had a controller issue. I wanted to go authentic for this, so I used PS5 controller. And just something to do with my bindings, my button binding. I'd have door problems occasionally, so it was saying to use circle to open it, which it was square. So I'm like, alright, the button prompt I'll use is circle. Tried square, didn't work. Tried circle, got about half, like the little white bar moved around slightly, didn't work. And I actually had to go in, and the only way to fix it was to reset my controller scheme every time. So that happened about 4 times when I need. Weird bug, but that's the only one I had.
Yeah, I had an issue with keybinds as well, but I don't think it was a bug. I think it was just the way that the settings handled themselves. Because I don't know if you remember, I sent you like screenshots, or I was talking to you about it, about how like I I'd be in the middle of like moving a ladder or something, and the keybind to carry it would be Y for the Xbox controller, and the Y would turn into an E and then back to Y, and it would just go back and forth, and that ended up being a setting. Like I had to change a setting in the game to get it to quit that, because I didn't want to play this on keyboard and mouse. I wanted to play it on the controller because so. And that was really the only issue. Once I got that sorted out, I didn't have any other issues after that. I never had any graphical issues or blah, 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 anything like that. So
no, sorry, that was another game. One's clothing like spawning into. I thought you sent me one graphical that you found funny.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. I fell through the floor.
Yeah, that's right.
I was about like 3/4 of the way through the game, and I couldn't figure out where to go, and I think I tried to jump from one ledge to another or something, and I fell through the floor, and I had to restart. Thankfully that there were checkpoints in this game, because listen, people. We're ahead on games, and I have had so many issues with save points and saving, and I'm over it.
Technically, you've got yourself to blame because you like playing series from the beginning.
Hey, nobody asked you. But no, but yeah, I fell through the floor. I don't know what happened, but like, we were in Pittsburgh or something. I don't know. I had to get to a bridge, so I tried to see if I could like run my way through the broken map to get to the bridge, and I could not. So I had to restart.
Yeah. Thankfully that worked out well for because at least it didn't auto save inside the broken part.
Well, I mean, even if it did, because they gave you this really cool option to restart checkpoint and not restart save. So yeah, so that's one really cool feature about this game that I really enjoyed, was like if something happened, like what happened to me, where I could not do anything, I could just go back like 2 minutes to the checkpoint, because there were many.
Yep. Just going back to combat quickly. I do want to praise it because I feel like I kind of sold it. Because it wasn't the combat itself, I guess, that I really had an overall problem. It was just how it played out, and probably my personality and what I expect from combat from a third person action, for want of a better word. I wouldn't class it. The guns were really good. Apparently the bow was better than the original. I didn't have, like, the draw distance was a little bit more, but I really enjoyed using the bow. I enjoyed how they incorporated shivs into the game to be a one-hit stealth kill and also open doors. That was kind of the upgrading thing that I did. I upgraded the shivs I could carry, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I remember you telling me how much you like shivs. But yeah, talking about shivs and bows and stuff like that, I remember using the fuck out of the bow, just because I love archery. So I got really good at estimating the height to distance you needed to fire the weapon, and I would just be popping off headshots. But that was also 10 years ago when I first played the game. So, but yeah, I didn't really use the bow too much unless I needed to be sneaky, and because I would always try and go for a headshot, because you always had a higher success chance of getting your arrows back, which is always good. The weapons I think I ended up using the most was the snub-nosed pistol, the 6-shooter. I used the shotgun a lot, and there at the end I used the machine gun. Whenever you got the machine gun, I used the machine gun quite a bit too, just because, for reasons.
I felt that was really late in the game. Do you mean the AR?
Yeah. Yeah, when
I
you're
felt
in
that
the
that
hospital.
came a bit too late. Yeah.
I mean,
Um,
it makes sense, from a gameplay perspective because like you find it just sitting like up on a wall or something, and why am I finding this random weapon here? Oh, could it be because there's a metric fuck ton of military personnel here?
yeah,
So
I feel like though, and you can correct me if I'm wrong because I have no idea about the more USs. The first thing a US citizen would an apocalypse would be to tool up with a heavy duty gun as opposed to like a pistol or a rifle per se. I don't know how strict the laws are in purchase of them, like especially back in 2013.
spoiler warning. It is very easy to purchase a weapon in the United States, and that is a terrible thought.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
Um, but
there
no,
we
but
go. We
no,
should have got that AR earlier.
yeah. Well, from that standpoint, I understand what you mean, but I lost what I was gonna say.
That's
I
okay.
even forgot where we were going with that.
I also want to give props to the flamethrower.
Oh
Freaking amazing.
yeah, I forgot about that.
Freaking amazing. I think San Diego, you picked that up.
Yeah.
And yeah, such a good time with it. So combat overall, I guess I'm coming down not as harsh as I thought I would. I'm doing it. And the
Yeah.
combat sections were fucking like if they led with the story stuff, which is where I thought they were going. This could have easily.
So how did you do combat?
I attempted stealth majority of the time, and then when that failed, I went guns blazing.
Okay.
Up
See,
until about the last fight of Pittsburgh, in like the streets in the cafe area.
yeah.
That's when that one took me close to an hour, I think.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Because like whenever this game, like you said in the show notes, it has kill rooms, which basically means a cinematic happens and you have to stealth your way or kill your way through a group of people. And I didn't, like I said, I didn't want to use any of my ammunition, so I found a route to take to stealth kill everyone. So I did that, and there were several times where I had to shoot my way out, but the AI worked in such a way that if you hid long enough, they would lose track of you and go back to their rotation. So I just went back and started stealth killing everyone again.
Yeah. A piece of controversy I heard about the original version of this game was Ellie's AI, and it being horrible. And I had no instance of that. Do you know or remember anything about that at the time?
Oh yeah, Ellie is heavy-footed, heavy breathing.
Okay.
When you are trying to stealth your way around things, specifically clickers, the ones that use echolocation to find its prey, and you're sitting there trying to be quiet, and Ellie is just walking up to the clicker and stomping around in circles around it, and then coming back to find you. Yeah, that's
Okay.
basically what she did. Like
And
she and that's something that I noticed even in this game is that the enemy AI was always targeted to you.
yeah.
So I can understand why Ellie's AI stomping around, being loud, not sneaking wasn't really an issue. It's kind of funny. But
I
yeah,
didn't
cuz
notice too many instances of clickers, and they might have changed the scenarios for them. But Joel was on his own a lot of the time when, at least from my memory, when I was facing.
well, we also played it on, or I played it on story mode. I don't know about you, but I don't know if that changed the amount of enemies or as far as clickers
Okay.
or the can't think of the name of them. The
Yeah, I
mushroom
just call them
people.
infected.
Cordyceps. The
Uh,
cordyceps. Um, I don't know if that changed the amount of cordyceps you run into or not. I'm not sure if it does. I know that it did the standard, you take less damage and they take more, and the AI is less adaptable. So it's definitely a more story driven game instead of a combat driven game. So, which I don't remember if that was in the original or not. And if it wasn't, then that's a pretty good quality of life update, I would say.
Yeah. And I think, speaking of quality of life, though, the, I guess, overhaul that the team did, visual and sound, it didn't even look like 2020. It looked like a game easily on the PC. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have anything bad to say about quality of life of this game or anything. I feel like it handled exactly as it did years ago. I feel like I honestly don't have a whole lot to say. I mean, it was a good game.
Yeah.
I actually enjoyed my time with it, and going into this for basically blind. I found myself really enjoying it, and I wouldn't mind going back to do all the collectibles. Actually, that is one thing I do want to note on, is that one of the collectible things that you have to find are these firefly pendants, but I don't think there's any way to actually know where they are. I think you just have to look up where they are, because there were a couple instances where I saw a firefly emblem like on a wall or something, and I knew to look for one there. But for the most part, like I basically just stumbled upon what I found. So that's the only quality of life feature that I didn't really would have enjoyed seeing is unless I'm just mistaken.
No, I didn't think there was a way to find them. Everything I came across was by chance.
Yeah, and it's like when you go to the Capitol building, there's this little gondola is the wrong word, pagoda. I think it's a little place where people can sit. And it has a little overhang thing. I don't know. But I walked in there going, oh, there might be something over there. Like let's go look. And it's like, yep, there was a pendant right in the middle. But and I looked around and I didn't see any like firefly emblems anywhere. And I was like, well, that's kind of funky.
Yeah. I didn't check the accessibility options for this game. I normally dive into that, but I'm sure there would have been some. Naughty Dog's taken care with the music. Music. I'm confused about music in a way. Aside from like the opener and the guitar tracks are friggin' amazing.
Yeah.
I can't actually remember there being too much music as you're actually walking and playing.
Yeah, I don't think there was either. And I don't know if that was like an art from an artistic standpoint or not. It would kind of make sense because of the story. But yeah, I mean, like what music I did hear was really good. I don't remember any of it, but I feel like the sound effects hit really hard though. Because sound was a really big thing, and
yeah, particularly when you're navigating around, the clicker noise was friggin' eerie, man. Like, yeah, I played this game with friends like I do, but that almost jumped me into survival horror mode when I was navigating areas where clickers hear this in like your left ear. And it's like, oh, okay, they're definitely, you'd hear like the slobbering, gurgling, infected, just like mumbling to themselves because they're out of there. I think the subway's a really good one when you're still, I forgot, Joel's Offsider.
Hold on, I've got it. Keep going. I've got it here somewhere.
Yeah, and you're just walking around the subway station. They're having their little bit, which at times I thought inappropriate. The party banter that went on. Yeah, Tess. You're still with Tess, and you're walking into like a paper store in the subway, and you just hear this slobbering, muttering, guttural person out of their mind, and you're like, okay, I'm staying away from that because I think there was a safe there that I needed to unlock. So I guess you call it voice acting, but the environmental sound.
Yeah, and I just wanted to touch on the visual style of the cordyceps, because I really enjoyed
Fucking
how going through.
horrifying.
Well, it's not even the fact that it was horrifying. It's just like playing through the game, you got to pick up these I forget the name, the codex pages essentially. Oh, that is a quality of life thing that I would like to touch on real quick, is that whenever you picked up a codex page or a letter or something, you could read it from the screen, or if you wanted to, you could hit a button and it would show the words written like in a font on the screen. That way, it was just easier read. Because like sometimes there were some things where they were like bloody and smeared, and so that was a really nice quality of life feature that I enjoyed. But
sorry, jumping in,
go ahead.
You saying that made me think of something else. Do you remember if you could walk while listening to the tapes in the hospital or the university?
I
don't.
If I found them, I did listen to them. Yeah.
I don't know whether you could walk though while you were listening. That's a.
I think you could.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's a shout out then.
Yeah.
Anytime you can still move while you're listening to an audio piece of lore, big plus.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Because, like, when you're on the move and you're constantly on the move, like, why would you just stand still? But anyway, back to, I'm going to file this under visual style. When you're going through the world, you pick up these codex pages, and some of them give you little snippets on each individual stage of the cordyceps virus or disease or whatever it is, spore. And basically what it is there's like what, 4 different stages. You had the people who still looked human, and then you had the ones who like going slightly mad, and then you had the clickers, and then you had the big boomers or something like that. I don't remember, but you got to see each and every stage of the progression of this infection in your playthrough, and that was really nice. And each one you came across had to be handled differently, because of the amount of infection that had been taking place in it.
Yep. Yeah. Most definitely the enemy design would be varied. I also think the design between the humans, not that I was paying great amount of attention because I was too busy trying to kill them or trying to live.
Yeah, like every NPC looked differently.
Yeah, I'm fairly sure.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't surprise me. Also, shout out to the water. Once again, very happy when you can't drown or be attacked in the water. Always a plus.
Wait, you can't drown? You had...
No, sorry, you can. There is a health meter or a breath meter. But it was generous. Like, I never felt like I needed to get above water quickly when I was navigating with Joel. And there were never any fights underwater. Like, there weren't mutated sharks or sea creatures, which I'm very, very thankful.
So sorry, I'm having...
No, that's okay.
I was having someone try to call me on Discord, and I was just trying to explain to them I can't right now. But but yeah, the underwater stuff was really cool. I felt a little pressured whenever I was trying to explore, because I feel like, and this would probably be more of a realistic standpoint on exploration underwater, is, he's just a guy, like he's not an Olympic swimmer or anything, so it makes sense that he doesn't have a whole lot of lung capacity to swim underwater for any indefinite amount of time. So I felt it was a little frustrating that I had to pretty much just go up and down and up and down and up and down and up and down all the time. But I mean, it wasn't that big of an issue for me.
Yeah, wow, that's interesting. I was the complete opposite. I felt quite comfortable. in the water sections, and I guess also the viscosity that really went with the water sections. Like, it muffled your sound, it did all those fantastic visually, it gave you that little film over the screen when you're underwater. Yeah, I actually really enjoyed. They were few and far between. Also, that cutscene with the school bus, I believe, as they're navigating the sewers on the way to the university, really well done. I thought that would have been playable, but there might have been actually QTEs. We haven't even talked about the QTEs.
Oh yeah, QTEs.
I forgot they were even there. They were good.
I did too.
Compared to most QTEs. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's where I turned on an accessibility feature about having to single press instead of mash, so that's why I forgot them. There was an accessibility feature to make them, and I think in story mode they were off entirely, or majority of them.
Probably. I don't. I think you might be right, because I don't recall any actual like QTEs popping up, but and what I am thinking of is like raising a door where you have to hit X repeatedly, or holding a door where you have to hit X repeatedly. But I don't remember any kind of like, oh shit, like I have to push this button combination real quick before I die. Yep. I don't remember any of that.
Yeah. Yeah, that might have been a difficulty thing, because I definitely had some. Let me just say though, generators, fuck that action. That took me so long to work out how to start a generator.
Yeah, I remember you saying how much you disliked it, and then like 30 minutes later I came across my first one, and I didn't have any issues with them. I mean, I just, you pull the lever 3 times and you try not to, it made sense to me. So, but
maybe I suck because I suck at it at real life. It was just transfer.
Yeah. Could be.
Alright, so story and the world. So like I said, we'll probably just cover the prologue, maybe up to chapter 1 here in this part, and the rest bowl. So you start off in, what year is it? Is it 2000?
Hold on. I have this written down as well. 2013, yes. It's the game starts off in Austin, Texas in 2013. And
pre-infection. Joel's returning home from work. Quite late at night, it goes into his house, sees his Sarah asleep on the couch. It's her birthday, or Joel's birthday, and he's obviously working, struggling to meet himself. He's quite a caring, fun father, I guess, while being strict in a way. And Sarah gives him a watch. Just the banter between Lee Hart at the start, because he's like, "Oh, where'd you get the money for that?" It's just like, "Oh, selling drugs." And he's like,
he just goes with it.
yeah. And then shit starts coming down. They see a report on about how communication is down wide, and there's been unexplained deaths. And then you hear a dog bark outside.
Something like that, yeah.
Sarah goes to go outside. They see their next one, who has turned. He tries to kill Sarah and then shoots it. They then call Joel's brother Tommy, attempt to flee the city. Something really, I guess, that shows the gravity of the situation that stands Joel's personality straight away is they drive past a family as they're hanging out of town, and Sarah's like, "Oh, Dad, we have to stop for them." And he's like, "No, we're not stopping." Like, he's already having an us and mentality, doing what he needs to protect his tribe, and no one else. Their car crashes, and they escape the city injured. I don't think you actually engage in combat, do you? At the point, it's all just still running.
Yeah, no.
Because Tommy has the gun, be sure.
Yeah, because Tommy has the gun. And then the streets are overrun, the planes are crashing, all that stuff, standard apocalyptic stuff.
Yep.
And basically you're running through the city.
Yeah, you get to the outskirts of the city, and then you're stopped by a soldier.
You get stopped by a soldier.
Of a quarantine point. He's like, "Don't move any further." Joel's like, "We're not infected, or we're not sick, just let us out, just let us." And the soldier fires, and it wings Joel, and up hitting him. Yep. And at this point, I was like, even though I'd watched it in the show, I was like, "Oh, holy!" And I can only imagine what it would have been like for players back in 2013 for the first time this occurring, depending how much media you'd seen around. If you went in completely blind, I can see such a power.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because I mean, it's kind of like how you felt when you were saying that you didn't know how you felt about how Ellie wasn't in the prologue of the game because you have to set up for that story. And I'm just gonna go ahead and say this. It's a good story. I enjoyed it. But yeah, so I feel like they did the prologue right. I feel like
100%.
it set up everything perfectly for the rest of the story. And
I was emotionally invested in Joel, even up, like just from the prologue.
oh yeah,
They'd done it so well. Might jump back to voice actor. Completely forgot. So Troy Baker and Hannah Hayes as Joel and Sarah, respectively. Such a great job. Even though Hannah had such a short role, her portrayal of spot on and excellent. Like, they could have just got someone as a throwaway for that piece because it was such a short period of time that she was in. But she did a fantastic.
oh, I agree. And then I can't really single out any of the voice actors, but I feel like they all did a really good job. I don't think I came across anyone who I felt could have done a better job or worse job. I feel like it was pretty well done across the board.
Yep. Yeah, looking at it, and we'll go through, I guess, their big name anyway, the voice acting hologram. Even back then, in 2013, all very experienced. So then, after that, we jump forward 20 years. Joel, what's the city? Anyway, Tommy, his brother, isn't there.
Boston.
Boston. It hasn't been explained why Tommy's not there just yet, but he's not. Joel's living by himself, working with Tess, who I guess is kind of implied they're in a relationship, but it's never real specified.
Yeah,
They'd be fucking, like, let's be honest.
Yeah, the terms in this game are pretty gender neutral. And with Tess, like the way they talk to each other, I kind of got the feeling that they were together, but at the same time, it also felt like they could have just been like work partners.
Yeah. Joel at times is very quick to tell Tess it's my way or the highway. If you aren't willing to do what we need to do, like, I'll leave. Even though when we get to her bit, he becomes quite emotional.
Yeah.
But we're in chapter 1. Joel and Tess are gun runners essentially, and they've been screwed over on a deal by, is it Robert?
They're tracking down Robert. Yeah, it was Robert. Yep. Yeah. Because Robert sold guns out from under them that he was supposed to give them the money for.
Yep.
And he sold the guns to the Fireflies, the rebel group that's fighting the Fedra, which is the new military government.
Yeah. It's very much a new military government control. Food is being rationed. People have to have passports and tokens as currency. It's very, government-controlled areas throughout, and then the Wilder will basically underline the theme. If you don't follow what the government says, you guys can go for very military, very good vibes there. So Joel and Tate, by running guns, they track down Robert and quite brutally kill him for stuffing them over. And then you meet Marlene, who's the Firefly, and she says, all right, I've already sold your guns on, but if you do this job for me, then I'll get you what you need. Or I need you to transport this girl, Ellie.
Well, no, she kind of tries to lie to them first, because she says, oh, well, if you do this for me, I have a job I need you to do, because, this is another thing that you guys do. If you do this for me, I have some cargo that I have to get out of the city. Yep. So she doesn't say that it is a teenage girl. She just says cargo.
Very good point. Belying that Ellie is somewhat special from the get-go.
Yeah.
And I forget the circumstances that lead them to meeting Ellie from there. I think they basically have to run away from Terry. And they go back. Oh, Marlene gets shot. And they head back to Marlene's hideout
Yeah.
where they meet Ellie. Yeah. And from there, Marlene's like, I'll be okay. You guys just take Ellie and get the city because it's nearly not. And they need to take Ellie to the Firefly contingent at the Capitol building at that point.
Yeah. And then from there, it's pretty much just a journey west across America to get Ellie to a destination.
Yeah.
To make sure that she's safe.
Yeah. I think that's all we'll touch on at the moment.
Yeah.
To be spoiler free. But the story was more than compelling enough to carry the game. This could have been a Telltale game, realistically, and I would have been just as more.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Purely devoid of combat, purely. I think some tension would have been lost, but if they kept it QTE, I think it, like, basically what Telltale Walking Dead. If they made it like Telltale Walking Dead, I still would have really just for.
Yeah, I see that. And I feel like that is also mainly due to how they built the world and how immersive the world was, because, you know, you're spending a lot of time running around, running and hiding, and there's a lot of dialogue going on as well, and it all just enriches the world, and you feel like, I don't even know what I'm trying to say, but like, it's just the world building was phenomenal. And I feel like that is probably a good 75 to 80% of why everybody loved this game, was because of the world that the devs built and the story that was told. So obviously, from my point of view, I have replayed it. And I replayed it for the podcast. It's not a game that I would have picked, but I'm glad that I got a chance to go back into this world and kind of relive this journey with Joel and Ellie. That to say, there are not multiple endings. I don't remember there being any side quests.
Do we want to talk about the Mandela effect you had now, or wait for this? We might wait, hey. Yeah.
Yeah, let's wait.
All right. Join us on the other side to hear what they are.
Yeah. It's like I've been holding myself back because I don't want to say anything, because I enjoyed the game this playthrough a lot. I enjoyed it, I feel, just as much as I did my first time playing through it, and I feel like my perception on the game has changed, but that comes with age and wisdom. So there was a DLC, as we said. Neither one of us played it, but
it comes bundled with the part 1 pack. I think it's worth saying. The PC and PS5 version of the remake is it comes with all the kind of facets there. It comes with, so that wasn't a separate purchase, which I will give in their face.
Yeah, and for a game that was released 2 years ago, I feel like it was also relatively cheap, even though I bought it on sale, because I think it's only like $40 or something like that. But I definitely feel like there is some replayability with this game, and even with the DLC, even though it's a little lackluster, from what I understand. I definitely feel like there's enough content, and hey, if you want more, there is a second game. So, what is a moment that stuck with you? Do you have any?
Yeah, definitely Sarah dying.
Yeah.
Is a moment, I think, that set the tone for the entire part. And a second one was definitely, I guess, the brutality and this covers multiple. It's not a spoiler per se. I guess the brutality that Joel shows throughout the game, at various instances, just showing how far he will go to protect Ellie, because he has to do it multiple times throughout the. There's a point where he builds a positive relation and then is willing to trade that in for Ellie's.
Yeah.
So I guess the father is moments that have. How about
See,
you?
and that's a really big part of why I hated this game my first playthrough, was because for reasons we'll get to in the spoiler section, um, the surrogacy of Joel essentially adopting this little girl he knows absolutely nothing about and journeying with her across the West, uh, you really grow with them, and you really see how they come to bond and see each other as family, even though they're not. And I think that is the moment that sticks with me. Is there's a moment, and I think it's like the second or third chapter. I don't remember, but it's a moment where you can definitely tell that Joel has kind of transcended his not employee, but he's kind of transcended the way he thinks about the job that he's on, and it has become more personal, and you can see that he actually is starting to care and bond with this little girl.
And I think another point you just helped me think of then, considering both our psychology background, it's not. There's also a specific point in the game, when the spoiler section, where Ellie, because she starts out as being a replacement for Sarah. His guilt for letting Sarah die is very much present early, probably the first half of the game, in protective factor for Ellie, and that's kind of where it's born from. But there's definitely certain points throughout where his relationship with Ellie really delineates from that, and he sees her as a separate person, and whilst he's able to let go of his daughters and enhance it, while also building.
Yeah, but when all is said and done, Joel is still a petulant man-child who has zero idea on how to handle his fucking emotions. And that is where 98% of all of his fucking problems come from. Because, like, Ellie tries to get him to open up about things, and he's just like, shut up, you're just a kid, blah, 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 blah. And he's just reaming her out for no reason. It's like, dude, like, you need to control yourself. Like,
yeah, he'd be Gen X though, wouldn't he? That's pretty
yeah,
on par.
Yeah. And if he is a Gen X, like he was supposed to learn how to control his emotions by not having them, and he definitely had emotions. Boy, did he have emotions. But anyway, let's get to ratings.
Okay. Sorry. Yeah, I'm gonna be really surprising. I might go first.
Okay,
If that's
go ahead.
okay.
Yeah.
I'm putting this game as a fail.
Fail. Okay.
Yeah, it was beautiful. I love it as a story experience. The gameplay just wasted too much of my time. For me to consider it a worthwhile gaming experience. There are so many positives about this game that people should experience. However, I would recommend you experience them through YouTube. Yeah, that's where I come down at the end of. I definitely wouldn't play it again. I will play the sequel because I feel like we should finish the series.
Yeah.
And I may change my mind. I'm always open to having my mind change. At the end of the day, with this game, I spent 16 hours on it when I should have spent 6 watching a YouTube run through or a compilation of the cutscenes. Yeah, that's where I come. I love the work that was put in by the team. Everybody, cast and crew, everyone on this game did a fantastic job, and I can see why this gets the praise that it does. However, the gameplay has fallen down.
Yeah, I get that. And I'm going to rate this the complete opposite, because this is a fun game for me. I really enjoyed my time in this world and relearning the characters and remembering the story that I had one negative about this game that I can't say anything until we reach the spoiler wall. But and that one negative shaped my entire viewpoint on this entire game. And having a chance to not be forced, but to be relatively coerced to play it again, has kind of opened my eyes to how the game really is. And like I said, with age and wisdom, I have a better understanding for it. And it's definitely getting a fun rating from me just because my outlook on the entire thing was skewed and it has been changed. So, but we're talking about this game in 2025. I would be remiss to say that there's not a lot of people who haven't played this game.
Yeah. Or at least watch the TV series.
Or at least, yeah.
Yeah, because it was actually the TV series that made me want to choose it, because I completely given up. I've forgotten that I even know, really, until I was doing the Blasphemous trading in my PS3 collection. And I'm like, oh, I own this game back at the time. We should do it for a host week.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it'll probably be me picking number as well. I won't, have you waste it.
Well, I mean, like I said, my outlook has changed dramatically on this one. So I'm actually looking forward to seeing where the story goes.
Yeah.
But until then, I would like to thank the listeners and all that. Let's.
Shit. Sorry, my man. I just remembered we had listener correspondence.
Oh, yes, we did. Yes, we did. Yes, we did. Yes, we did. Yes, we did.
I'm just scanning it so there's no spoilers. Cool. So we've got 2 pieces of correspondence from this. Thank you very much to those members. If you would like to put your correspondence, follow me on infinitebacklog.net, a backlogging website under Spectre approved. You'll be able to find us there. I post up about a week before recording if anyone has any general correspondence they want to say, as well as on my lists. I've put up the list of upcoming games there as well. So we had Tigomar, who had some correspondence. They said, an amazing game, played on the PS3 back in the day. Not many games are better. Part 2 is. So yes, it deserves a remake. I'm also watching the TV show and it's still fresh and exciting. Excellent recreation of the game. Do I sound like a fanboy?
I would say so, yeah.
Very interesting that they said Part 2 is better.
Yeah, because I've heard a lot of negative things about the second game, but we're not there yet, so I'm not going to say anything about that. Our next guest correspondence comes from Violent Sneeze. Bless you. And they say, yes, played it on the day it launched. I loved the entire experience. I've played a bit of the remake and do think the game deserved that treatment, especially for a PC release. And lastly, very happy that they did a TV show. As many people as possible deserve to experience it. I am not one of those people because of my viewpoints on that game. But after this playthrough, I'm probably open to watching the TV show. So, yeah.
I also very much agree with Violent Sneeze. Every Sony game should get a PC release. Curse you people that still haven't put Bloodborne on the PC.
Yeah. So, that's it for listener correspondence, right?
Yeah. Do you want to do house cleaning?
Yeah. Let's go ahead. So, I forget how you do this, but if you would like to support our show, you can support us on Patreon. That is patreon.com/Spectre approved. It's only $3.50 US or $6 for AUS. That's really cheap. And if you would like to join us on Discord, that's where all the cool people hang out. You can join us at bit.ly/TSMP Discord. That's all caps. Speaking of Discord, our leader.
I was going to say, did you want me to
speaking of, Discord leader words, Dalton Suter, aka Now the Nightmare. You can, if you enjoyed the music that is at the beginning and ending of our podcast, You can go and find that at nowthenightmare.bandcamp.com. Dalton is a really good artist, so go buy some of his music if you like it.
100%. And just another thing with Bandcamp, even if you want to save up all your money and wait for Bandcamp Fridays, all the money goes directly to the artists, and the host doesn't take any of those fees there. So if you like his stuff, save up for when all the music goes directly to the artists themselves.
Yeah, and all of his albums are really cheap too. I think I spent like, I've purchased the majority of his music, and I think his cheapest album is like anywhere from $3 to $5, and you get 12 to 20 songs on each album, and it's all worth it in my opinion. But I also love music, so I'm biased.
100%.
Yeah.
So you can find me on socials under the Spectre Approved moniker on all the big names. I'm still on X, unfortunately, Blue Sky, and Infinite Backlog. And where can people find you?
You can find me everywhere. Discord, Steam, Epic, EA, GOG, Final Fantasy XIV, and Infinite Backlog. Fenris Wolfsbane, everywhere. So come say hi.
Excellent. And if everyone could be so kind as to please leave a rating and a share for the show, even if you leave a comment, we're happy to have some constructive feedback as well. And keep looking out for those questions for our next episode, which will be Baldur's Gate 1.
Oh, yeah. 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 That Baldur's Gate. Yeah. That's a game. So looking forward to playing that.
So for the music break today, I'll probably do Ellie's song. It's the most, I believe it's the theme song for The Last of Us. It's just a beautiful piece of music. And we will see you guys on the other side.
Yep. Until then.
welcome back on the other side of the music wall, dear listeners. And from now, we're going to dive into full spoiler territory for The Last of Us Part 1 and its TV show companion.
Yeah, so I'm going to lean on you for the TV show because I have yet to watch it. But the story starts off after the prologue when we find out that the cargo is a teenage girl named Ellie. So Joel and Tess have a really big fight about doing it, but they end up coming to terms and just agreeing to do it because they need the money from the guns that Robert sold out from under them. So they sneak Ellie...
I might just jump in here just to clarify for listeners. It's Joel that doesn't want to transport Ellie.
Yeah, yeah.
Which I found really interesting, that he was coming down. I was expecting a disagreement, but I thought it would be Tess that didn't want to do it. So Joel starts off as very contentious about it.
Yeah, and that probably, definitely comes from a resurgence of feelings about his daughter. But they end up agreeing to do it because Tess talks him into it. And they end up sneaking her through checkpoints, and they have like secret conversations, realizing that she's very unusually important to Marlene outside of, oh, well, I promised her dying mother that I would take care of her, because that's did happen. That is the story that Marlene told Joel and Tess, but there was obviously something more to it, and the revelation that Ellie tells them is that she's immune to the cordyceps infection because she was bitten 3 weeks ago at the time, and she had never turned.
Yeah, so that was a real interesting occurrence because the game and show are kind of melding a bit for me here. But in the show, at least, they're found by some soldiers. Joel takes them out, but uses the scanner on Ellie, and it comes up as infected, and that's how they...
Yeah, that's pretty much what happens.
So that's synonymous with the game? Yeah. Okay, cool.
It more or less, yeah, but that is what happens. They get caught, and they take the guards out, and they grab the scanner that... I don't remember how the scanner works, but the technology behind it is it scans for the virus, and it shows either a positive or a negative. But that's when they start to believe that, you know, she really could be immune. And Tess starts to believe that Ellie could be the key to a cure, and Joel doesn't care. He just wants out. But they reach the rendezvous point to meet up with the Fireflies that Marlene told them about, but they're all dead. And then Tess is bitten, and she begs Joel to take Ellie to Tommy, his brother, who used to be a Firefly, because he should know where all of his quote-unquote Firefly buddies are. So while all this is going on, they're still being chased by the Fedra soldiers, and she ends up sacrificing herself, and Joel reluctantly continues the journey with Ellie alone. And this is where his petulant man-childness really starts to show, because they start journeying out west and to Lincoln, Nebraska, which is the home to Joel's really crazy prepper contact named Bill, and he's paranoid and traps an entire town, and with like
that bit was actually a lot of fun gameplay wise, actually, getting into Bill's town. Just having to disarm the traps and all that sort. Well, you don't actually disarm them, you just set them off, I think. That was, sorry to jump in, but that was just a lot of fun. Because ideally they want to drive across country, not walk it. So that's why they're to Bill's, because he's the car guy.
Yeah. And if anyone's going to know how to fix the car, it's going to be him. But after... So, Bill is initially untrusting of Joel and Ellie. And after some back and forth and ambushes, which this ambush was a lot of fun because Joel steps into one of Bill's traps and gets flung up in the air by his leg, and you have to shoot off the zombies while they chase after Ellie, and you have to do it upside down, and all the controls are upside down. And it was fun. It was fun. I enjoyed it. But Bill comes in like a badass and saves them and takes them to his hideout, and then that's where all the back and forth goes. But they end up finding a working truck battery for what was it? It was for a military transport. There was a military transport that had been abandoned because it ran into town and then everyone died or something, and it should still have fuel and a working battery or whatever. And so they went across the town to grab the battery, but the battery was gone. So they got ambushed again, and then they hid out in a house, and that's where they find Bill's ex-partner Frank, who is dead. Suicide by hanging after being infected, and it adds a very, very bleak context to Bill's paranoia. And Bill, being just like Joel, is a petulant man-child who doesn't know how to deal with his feelings. So, yeah.
So if you're happy for me to talk about the show here,
yeah, go ahead.
Because it's a very different context in the game, and this is where I was very, very surprised. Because Frank's suicide note actually is quite hostile and actually says words to the effect that Bill was the reason that he was done with life. Whereas in the show, they were a couple, and it's quite, I guess, tastefully and well done. Like in the show, they actually get married. But Frank is terminally ill, and that's why he gave up his life, because he didn't want to just go through the pain, I guess, of that kind of illness and death that way. So that ends up being why he hangs himself. That
is very different, and I can kind of understand why they changed it, but I can see how they would take the show and go, oh, well, these two people were lovers, because even though the companionship names are partner, completely gender neutral or whatever, and instead of boyfriend or husband or whatever, you can tell with the way that Bill handles the situation, that there was definitely something there, and with an upcoming scene, it kind of gets, pardon me, but it gets cemented into place.
Yeah.
So after that, Joel and Ellie escape in a repaired truck, and Bill warns Joel that people like us are just survivors; they're not saviors, and blah 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 blah. Because people are gonna people. But there's a little thing that happens in the truck, and Ellie pulls out a nudie magazine, and it's definitely a gay one. And then she mentions that the pages are stuck together. So
yeah, fucking hilarious. Great scene.
Yeah. And that just kind of cements the fact that Bill and Frank were partners of a romantic type. So out of Bill's town and into Pittsburgh, they get ambushed by hunters while traveling through the city.
Yeah, sorry for the audible groan, but
yeah,
Pittsburgh just...
Yeah. And that's where they meet Henry and Sam, who are two brothers who are also trying to escape. And they tag team. Ellie bonds with Sam, being similar ages, and Joel with Henry in a wary alliance. because they're both older and wiser, and they understand that either one of them could eventually turn on each other. While they're trying to make their way through Pittsburgh, this was probably one of my favorite parts of this game. They get under fire by a sniper, and Joel goes all the way forward and kills the sniper, and then he protects them while they make their way to him. And I think this was another infinite ammo kind of thing, but I don't remember. It was a lot of fun. Anytime there's any kind of gunplay in a video game, I always choose the sniper route. But yeah, so something happens. They get while they're making their way towards Joel, and he's covering them. He misses one, and it attacks them, and everything's fine. They hide out for the night, and come to find out that Sam, the little brother, gets bitten. He hides it, and he turns overnight. So, in a gruesome turn of events, Henry is not forced to, but chooses to kill his own brother, who is now infected. And then, in a moment of grief, he turns the gun on himself. And
fucking heartbreaking.
Yeah, that it's the first major emotional hit since Sarah's death. And it took me by surprise because, like I said, I'd completely forgotten everything about this game. So, yeah. So that was heavy. After Pittsburgh, Joel and Ellie move on, and then it's fall time. And I don't know about you, but I really, really enjoyed the way that you followed these two through the seasons.
Yep, most definitely.
Quick question though: is the game meeting up with the TV show as far as Henry and Sam goes?
Yep.
All right.
That bit was exactly the same.
Nice. Cool. So that makes me wonder why they kept that, but not the little bit about Bill and Frank. That's interesting. Anyway, fall time. They finally make their way to Tommy's settlement. They find him at a hydroelectric dam in Wyoming, and they find that Tommy has built a functioning community with his now wife Maria, who is also pregnant. Ellie overhears Joel trying to pawn her off on Tommy, and she feels abandoned, like a kid would. And she runs off, and Joel chases her down in an emotional confrontation. They end up having a shootout with some hunters at an old abandoned farmhouse. Well, I guess everything's abandoned now. But they have a shootout at an old farmhouse, and Billy Joel, Ellie and Joel have it out. Ellie saying that everyone I've cared for has either died or left me except you, and Joel realizes that he's begun to see her as a daughter. And that's the part that I mentioned before. So he decides to take her to the destination where the Fireflies are himself, and they leave together.
Yep. Which
was a really touching moment because you could definitely see and hear the happiness in Ellie, because she too has also come to really enjoy her time with Joel. So it's winter time. There's a bit of a time skip because Joel is badly wounded during a fight, and Ellie nurses him through the cold.
What happens to... Did Tommy and Maria get killed?
No, there was a...
Because I also remember that, but don't remember why they're separated from... I think they're just too far out, to go back to Tommy and...
Probably, because they did leave on horseback. That's what it was. Okay. So, they make their way to the hospital. I don't remember where the hospital was, But they make their way to a hospital that is supposed to have the fireflies there, and they make their way through the city, and they find their way to the hospital where it's supposed to be like a quarantine zone and a safe haven, but there's absolutely no one there.
Oh, yeah, the Colorado University.
That's it,
Yeah.
the Colorado University. And there they find out that the fireflies are either dead or gone. The research has been packed up and moved to Salt Lake City. And so while they're leaving the hospital, they get ambushed by hunters. And if I'm remembering this correctly, because, yeah, Joel, in a mad attempt to save Ellie from someone, ends up falling, and he gets impaled on rebar. So while they're still trying to escape, Ellie is trying to help Joel, and she ends up having to defend themselves with one of the weapons, and I don't really remember what happens after that, but
No, that's when your first changeover is Ellie, I believe.
yeah, that's
And then
right.
it cuts to black.
Yeah, because
And then it's a month or two later, and they're in the cave because it's turned to winter.
yeah, so they escape. It fades to black. It's not anything dramatic. It's just they survive, and then there's the time skip. His his wound is getting worse, and Ellie is doing everything that she can think of to nurse him through the cold. She's hunting for food. She meets David, who is a seemingly kind stranger, and it turns out that David leads a cannibal cult of survivors. But you don't really find that out until later.
Who were the people that attacked Joel and Ellie at university?
Yes.
Question mark?
Yes.
Yes. And also, fun fact, David in the TV show is portrayed by Troy Baker, who voices Joel in the game.
Oh, I did not know that. Okay.
Yeah. And also, sorry, I just want to double check this. Ashley Johnson, who is Ellie in the game, portrays Anna.
Hannah.
No, Anna.
I don't know who that is. Anna.
A.
I don't know who Anna is.
Yeah. Anyway, well, I looked that up. Continue.
Yeah. So, initially untrusting of him because she's on her own and in the wilderness, and she has no idea who this guy is. She holds him at gunpoint while he sends his friend off to go get medicine because she needs it for Joel. So, surprise, surprise, they get ambushed by cordyceps. And so through, surviving the thing together, they end up having like a little mutual, not friendship, but, under the circumstances, friendship, like an understanding, basically. And when everything is said and done, I forget the guy's name, but he comes back with the medicine. She takes it and gets ready to leave, and then that's where David lets slip, or he doesn't let slip, but he basically tells her, he's like, oh, well, my people were hunting this couple of people, an older man with a younger woman, and
Yep.
my sources say that, the older man was badly injured, and you wouldn't happen to know anything about that, would you? And then that's when Ellie knows that the jig is up and that, she is actually in real danger.
Yeah. I have to say, though, again, just props to the storytelling, because you can tell that Joel has trained Ellie real well, because she is super standoffish for the majority of the interaction with David. It's not till after you go through the combat situation with him and they start like having each other's back there to save each other in that combat section that she kind of starts to lower her guard.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that happens, it's not just a game thing, because like if you don't trust someone but they got your back through a hairy situation like that, like there's got to be some level of trust built up. Doesn't matter how little it is, but there's something there, But in trying to escape, she gets captured, and oh no, she does escape, and she gets the medicine to Joel.
The horse racing.
Yeah, because the chase on horseback, and then the horse, she jumps over something, and it's a blind jump, and she falls down an embankment with the horse, and the horse dies. So she's running on.
I thought it got shotgunned over that blind jump.
It might have been. I honestly don't remember.
It got. Okay.
My notes just say blind jump, horse dies.
Okay. Yeah, because I remember it getting fucking a shotgun very close to its neck and just like exploding with blood, and then she
par for the course for this game. That could be what it is. But she runs the rest of the way on foot, going through like sewers and stuff like that, and she finally makes her way back to Joel and gives him the medicine, and then finds out that she was followed. So yeah, so she leaves Joel to recover even more with medicine, and tries to lead the hunters away from Joel to protect him. And then in doing so, she gets cornered, and then she eventually gets caught. And then I can't remember how it plays out, but either she escapes first. Yeah, she escapes first. And then after she escapes, Joel recovers enough to figure out that she's not there, and he goes out to find her. And plots do, he makes his way to where she is being captured, and he finds her backpack, and does a bunch of stealth stuff, and while this is going on, Ellie is in, I think it's a restaurant.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. And she
a fucking hard boss fight.
Oh yeah.
With David here.
Yeah.
Yeah, even on story, it was still pretty difficult.
Yeah, I had to redo it. Excuse me, I had to redo it once.
Yep.
But
David's AI is very good at learning.
Oh yeah,
it's like Mr. Freeze and Batman all over.
But Ellie is trying to. She's basically fighting for her life, because at this point it's been revealed that David and his cohorts are a bunch of cannibals, and she does not want to be eaten. But David reveals that he knows that she's infected but still human, and sees her as special, and I guess wants to keep her as a fucking pet because he's a psycho weirdo. So she's trying to survive in this restaurant and not get killed. And she ends up winning, and in a moment of, I feel like passion is the wrong word, but in a moment of passion,
she stabs the fuck.
Yeah, she goes ham with his own machete, and just stabs and stabs and stabs. And at that point, that's when Joel re-enters the scene, and they're reconnected, and he pulls her off of him, and and her adrenaline fueled whatever, like she kind of attacks him a little bit, but he does the whole hug her close and go, hey, it's fine, you're safe, you're fine, like I'm here, and she's clearly traumatized, but touching reunion. It was really nice. I really thought that was a good way that they handled that. And then they cut to springtime. They finally reach Salt Lake City, which is where the Fireflies had packed up and moved to. And Ellie's demeanor is quiet because she's still traumatized by that, and she knows that their journey is coming to an end. There was a really great cinematography area or time here with the giraffes. I also really enjoyed that.
So they find an abandoned zoo.
Yeah.
And there's just it basically, like Fenris saying, great cinematography of how nature has, I guess, reclaimed the area, with humans not being there. which is some pretty powerful commentary out that we see. Nature's kind of itself back there, and all the animals are just running around free. Monkeys. You also see the giraffes, and it's a very famous scene. Ellie and nature lives on, kind of thing.
Yeah, it was just, beauty in a moment of chaos. But they make their way to St. Mary's Hospital, and surprise, surprise, Marlene is there. She survived the gunshot wound to the gut from the beginning of the game, and apparently double timed it to Salt Lake City.
Yeah, that I don't really like that contrivance because I get it. She's probably, but like her beating him there and I understand Joel was in a couple of months. So yeah, but it's still.
I mean, it does make sense, but they do kind of dangle the carrot that she's not going to live because post-apocalyptic scene with a gunshot wound to the gut, like sepsis. Yeah, that's a very real thing whenever you have excrement flowing into your body cavity, but that's neither here nor there. So they all have a reunion, and getting down to the thick of it, Marlene reveals the truth that during all these studies about making a cure and stuff, the only way to... Oh, I guess I should preface this with the way that the cordyceps virus works is that it takes over the host brain. So, yeah.
Yep. Yeah, hence why the clickers have like mushrooms growing out their skulls.
Yeah.
Or why their face is out with mushrooms.
Yeah. So the infection races to the host brain, and it just spreads from there. So Marlene reveals a very painful truth that in order to make a vaccine, the surgeons have to remove the cordyceps from Ellie's brain. And in order to do that, they have to remove her entire brain. So it would be a very, very fatal thing, obviously. And Joel flat out refuses. And here's where my standoff with this game came to be in the very first time I played this game. So Joel refuses, and he slaughters his way through the hospital. You don't have to, but you can. And he...
Oh, I didn't realize that wasn't an option. I definitely...
Yeah. I mean...
And is that the point where he... No, sorry, that's later
yeah.
on.
So, I mean, you can sneak your way through, but it's just very difficult. But he makes his way through the hospital, killing fireflies and surgeons. Oh, no, not surgeons, but he does meet up with the surgeon while Ellie is on the table unconscious. And here's where you can make a choice, whether or not you can kill the surgeon or talk him out of it. I killed him because I felt like was the proper way to do it. And then he carries Ellie out, and it kind of mirrors the scene from the beginning of the game in the prologue with Sarah. And then Marlene confronts him before he's able to leave, and he ends up killing her too off screen, ensuring that no one will chase them. But
so sorry, before we get too far ahead. That surgeon plays a pivotal role in Last of Us 2.
Yeah.
I won't spoil who exactly they are, but something they did for the remake was they're in a flashback scene in Last of Us 2, and they change his clothes, I believe, to match what was in the flashback in number.
Okay.
Because obviously they didn't know that number 2 was coming when they first made number 1 back in 2013. So there was an inconsistency there, and they've gone back and changed that to make it more in line in universe and number 2.
Gotcha. Okay. So then I wonder, probably, no, nothing's going to carry over. There's nothing to carry over. But anyway, so in the epilogue, Ellie wakes up in the backseat of a car, and Joel ends up lying to her, saying that the Fireflies stopped searching for a cure, and there were dozens of other immune, and none were successful, and they returned to Tommy's settlement, and Ellie kind of sees through the lie and says, like, swear to me that everything you said about the Fireflies is true. And Joel says, I swear. And Ellie says, with a very hefty and very heavy pause, okay. And then fade to black. And that's the end of the game.
Yeah, there's some post-credits in there. Where Joel's talking to Tommy, and it shows shooting the shit out of Marlene.
Maybe?
Okay, so I believe there's post-credits. Joel's sitting with Tommy, and they're discussing what happened to Marlene. And it played out a little differently to how Joel. So he's very confrontational to Marlene. She tries to stop him once again in the parking lot, and he straight up murks her.
See, I remember that, but I don't remember. Maybe we played this weeks ago, so yeah.
Yeah, we're quite ahead on podcast. We are coming back to it with some hinds. Okay, I could be wrong.
No, I think you're right, because I do remember that. I don't think I added it in my notes because, I mean, the end result is the same. He kills her.
Yeah.
But there was something. Did you grab the Marlene recordings throughout your trip through the hospital?
No, I only had the surgeon ones.
Yeah. So Marlene had a recording, and it was basically her voicing a memo to Ellie's mother, wondering if, basically voicing her doubts about killing Ellie, whether or not she was doing the right thing. Because, in the beginning it was, I will protect your daughter, and then in the end it was, I will kill your daughter. And it's just adding a little bit of moral grayness to Joel's final choice, which is something I want to touch on. Because that's the reason I hated this game. I hated this game viscerally, because the way this game plays out is very beautiful. Because I thought that once Marlene revealed the truth that Ellie had to be killed, that there was a choice that you, the player, had to make. And that choice was either to save Ellie or let her die. And me, having just played through this game and watching the bond form between surrogate father and surrogate daughter, I said, fuck that. And I killed everyone, and I saved Ellie. But that's not how the game plays out. And I did a lot of research to see if anything had changed, because I remember there being a choice. And I think that's just the way that the devs made the game play out, that it makes it feel like a choice, even though there never was one. So because I know that the game plays out the way that it did, like, I see the game for what it is now and how it played out, and it really changed my entire viewpoint on this entire game, and I really came to enjoy it more. So
yeah, and I am glad then, because I felt bad when you said, no, like, it'll be alright, but I absolutely first time through. And I also did a shit ton of research, because you're not normally wrong about that kind of stuff. And even if there was a mod, no, like, yeah, it must have just been through the good gameplay and storytelling had the
yeah. And that's what it was for me. It was the illusion of choice, because, like, I was even talking to my husband about it, and he let slip that, he chose to let Ellie die. And then he was talking about the illusion of choice, and then he let slip that there actually isn't a choice. It's the illusion of choice. And what I took that to mean was that, whether or not you chose to save Ellie, you end up saving her anyway. But there is no choice, because Joel just says, fuck you, I'm saving my daughter.
Yep. I wonder if that informed another Sony-made game for the PS4. I won't say which one, because it will spoil the similar premise to The Last of Us, but there is a choice.
I'm not familiar with the game you're talking about, but I probably am.
Okay.
So just hit me up in chat with it. Yeah. And I haven't played that one, so I don't know.
Oh, okay. Yep. All right. Cool. Just a thought. But yeah, and we end the game with the beautiful music once again. and then you jump back to the main screen. Can you do a New Game Plus?
Yes.
With more gear?
I believe so, yeah.
Does stuff carry over, do you know?
I don't know. I didn't go into it, but I know that you can do a New Game
Yep.
Plus. Because there are a lot of collectibles in this game. There are notes and diaries and graffiti and it's there's a lot. There's some like 30 something Firefly emblems, or not emblems, necklaces that you can find.
Yeah.
So
yeah, after the credits roll is the game.
yeah.
But this game was massive on PC, which pays for like how good the graphics were. Over 110 gig, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I get it. Here we are, 10 years later, 2 playthroughs later. I understand why Ellie's AI did what she did. As far as the whole like running around stomping and running circles around infected people, like, because it doesn't matter, she's infected. They never would have.
Oh yeah.
They never would have like sensed it. So
true. Yeah. But did she still do that in the human-based fights?
I don't know.
Because then that's just bad AI.
Yeah. I don't know. Cool. Like, I know I mentioned it to you while we were playing it, and I'd meant to take note if I noticed it, but I never did. So I just assumed that it was something that they patched out for the remake, because there was a lot of internet talk about and I even showed you the meme that grew like wildfire. So
yeah. I don't remember the fanfare being as massive. I think the price point was a contention.
Yeah.
Because it was released at like $80.
Something like that.
Yeah. But yeah, it's pretty reasonable now. Like I said, we each had our opinions on the game back in the episode. But that is The Last of Us, done and dusted. I think we will be doing the sequel. I'll need to check what next host pick is, because I'm definitely not changing at this point. But yeah, I am keen to have my mind changed with the sequel, hopefully. From what I know about it, I haven't watched season 2 of the show yet. I want to keep myself as spoiled or as spoiler free as possible, but we'll see. So thank you once again, everyone, for listening. Go ahead and follow us and ratings for us. We'll be joining you in 2 weeks' time for Baldur's Gate 1.
Yeah.
With maybe a special guest.
If
I can rank. So once again, you guys have been listening to Spectre Approved. I am Adam.
And I'm Fenris.
And happy gaming.
Bye.